Common Sense says, Gen Z, y'all are real sensitive, and Michelle Obama is right.
Yeah. Yeah. She want that bag at home. I get that gas at home. Smoking that gas at home. I get that bag at home. She want that bag at home. I get that bag at home. I get that gas at home. Smoking that gas at home. She want that bag at home. I get that gas at home.
So welcome back, everyone, to another car chat. My name is April Butcher. I'm your mother on social, and I come to give you guys a little common sense commentary when it comes to things happening in the world, in pop culture, and in these internet streets. So if that interests you, definitely hit that subscribe button, like this video, and let's get into this car chat. So I saw online that I guess Michelle Obama was in her podcast, the one that she has with her brother, the same one that everybody said it wasn't going to be watching. They watching, okay? And she was sitting down with Keke Palmer, and she was talking about Gen Z, and I'll play the clip of what she said because I don't want to paraphrase it. I want y'all to hear exactly what she said, and then I'm going to get into what I think about it.
Most of life is just ordinary. You know, you got to learn how to be happy alone. You got to be happy, a little bored. You got to be happy when things are hard. You got to learn how to be satisfied when you failed and things don't go your way, because all of that keeps you getting up. But I think there are a lot of young people who are searching for this impossible feeling of continuous happiness.
So a lot of Gen Z and even some millennials took offense to what she said, as if she's saying that you can't have nice things. You can't want to achieve great things in life. And that's not at all what I believe she was saying. From a common sense aspect, what she was saying is, this street right here. What she was saying is that a lot of them have unrealistic expectations. It's not saying that the sky is not the limit to some people. It's just saying that everybody is not going to make it to that level of success that they're looking at online. When we were coming up, I'm Gen X, okay? Gen X is never in the conversation with y'all. We know to stay in our lane and mind our business, and we don't give a damn what boomers got to say and what millennials got to say, because in my opinion, boomers and millennials are the same exact makeup of people. They blame everybody else for their problems, okay? That's just my opinion. Don't get mad, but that's how y'all be acting, okay? And Gen X, we just stay in the cut and just watch y'all all argue it out, okay? So as a Gen Xer, for me, when I was coming up, I watched TV shows like The Huxtables, A Different World. I had people in my real life before social media, like we had the internet, but we didn't have social media. So before social media, a lot of my influence on the things I wanted to be in life came from the people that surrounded me, that I was surrounded around, right? So I remember when I was younger, there was this nurse by the name of Sister Alberta. Shout out to Sister Alberta, rest in peace. But she was a nurse, and she knew in the hospital system that I could either go to school to be a nurse or I could go to school to do x-ray. Now, I was already kind of exposed to what x-ray techs do. So I chose the x-ray route because it was less school, was 2 years, okay? And I could make a lot of money. Fast forward 20-some years later, I was making upwards of $125,000 a year, okay? With a 2-year degree. So a lot of times, and here's the gag, all the things that the influencers was doing online at that time, like when I turned 40, that was when I turned 40, I went to Bora Bora, right? Everybody was tripping with Tarte. Everybody was waiting on Tarte to take them to Bora Bora. I flew to Bora Bora on my own dime, and it only cost me $2,500, okay? I went to Bora Bora. I left, I think, Friday from my house in Houston. I made it to Bora Bora on Saturday. I stayed there through Thursday and came back home on Friday. And it cost me $2,500. So I always felt like I can do all the things the influencers are doing. Like I owned a home in Houston, Texas. I had a great career. I loved what I did. It's just I did not rely on, you know, doing makeup or wearing clothes. And or showing off clothes, you know, being in fashion. It's nothing wrong with that, but it's not the only avenue to get what you want to get. Now, granted, I was, 44 when I got my first Mercedes-Benz. I had really nice Hondas and everything else prior to that, like really nice cars. I never wanted a Mercedes-Benz. It wasn't a status thing like, oh, I have to have this in order to feel like somebody. I got it because I was needing a car during, like, right after the pandemic. And that was the best option for me. So I just kind of like stumbled into this car, and it was just an A-class. It wasn't even nothing like, and me and Brian used to laugh about that because I was like, I don't know what people tripping on, because like I would have family being like, oh, y'all got a Mercedes now? Oh, you think you a big shot now, you got a Mercedes? I'm not even gonna say who it is because y'all heads probably fall on the floor. But one of my close immediate family members said, oh, Brian needs to take that car back. You too small. And I was looking like, I paid for this car. Brian didn't do it. Brian credit helped, but Brian didn't pay for this car. Okay. So it's just things like that like at 44, you're telling me I'm not deserving of that. After 20 years of working in healthcare, I'm not deserving of that. But I feel like with Gen Z, the point that they're missing is that they don't look to their real in life examples, because I have a lot of family members around me that are younger Gen Z. They don't look to me as an example as far as career. They look at what I got and wanted by any means necessary. So like, for instance, today my daughter asked me, she actually asked me this while you was in the store. My husband's sitting here with me. She said, is being a social media influencer a real career? And I said, well, yes, it can be. Like, I'm not going to be that parent that be like, oh, no, you don't need to be worrying about social media. At the rate we going in this world, any job you could get at this point is good, okay? But the fact of the matter is, a lot of individuals will not, he laughing at these people driving, will not be able to accomplish that because they don't have the discipline to do it. They just don't. A lot of people don't know what goes into doing this. A lot of people don't understand cameras. They don't understand lighting. They don't understand editing. They don't understand algorithms. They don't understand hashtags. It's over that way. They don't understand hashtags. They don't understand any of that. They just see somebody going viral and think that that's the key to making tons of money and getting longevity. Jackiana been in the game. Jackiana is a millennial. Jackiana been in the game, okay, 4 years. And I know this lighting is horrible, okay? It's another part about being a social media influencer. You gotta know your lighting, okay? But she's been in the game for years. So what you're seeing as the byproduct of that, you're thinking like, oh, I want to be like Jackiana. I want to live in this mansion. I want to have an elevator in my house. You want to have all the things. There's a lot of work going into that. Look at Makayla Nagura. A lot of people are looking at Makayla Nagura right now and saying, I want to be like Makayla Nagura. Do you not understand, in order to be like Makayla Nagura, you got to be uploading anywhere from 3 to 4 times a day? Bethany Frankel uploads 3 to 4 times a day on 3 different platforms: YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Okay? So that's, bless you, that's what she's talking about. She's talking about this. You see, we had, like, when we was younger, we had like this American dream, right? We wanted the American dream. You know, a nice house, a family, and that was good. That's what she's talking about. A lot of young people need to learn how to be happy with the things that they have, because sometimes in life, the things that you want, you might not get. And if you might not get them, you have to still be happy and content with the things that God gave you. Waking up in the morning, having your health, all of these things are blessings, okay? They are blessings. And we see them, like, even like right now with Dolce. Dolce has a song, oh, anxiety is watching me. A lot of them is running around with goddamn anxiety, okay? Y'all ain't even healed yourself, but y'all worried about blowing up on the internet and getting all the things. I just saw a young Gen Zer. I'm not going to say her name. She's an influencer. She just bought a house. She already done decorated the house. She done already done built closets and everything in there Blessings to her. I'm happy for her. I actually follow her. I like all of her videos. I compliment her on everything. But then I see other young individuals that go to buy houses, like this young gentleman right here.
Guys, tell me why my mortgage went from, don't judge me here, $3,200 a month to $5,600 a month. Long story short, I bought a new home with Ryan Homes. The worst decision I've ever made in my life, I swear to God, and I am paying for it till right now. I had a realtor during this time, but with new construction, Ryan Homes doesn't pay the realtor a commission. So I was like, well, okay. I'm not gonna ask him to come in and do any kind of work because he's not gonna get compensated for it. I get the first tax bill. The taxes were $16,000.
Who went and bought a house and didn't even know anything about escrow. Didn't bring a realtor up there. It wasn't the fact that he said in his video, well, the realtor couldn't come because this particular company didn't. Then you didn't need to be buying a house with them. How do you not have family around you that someone could have came with you to help you buy that house? But a lot of times these young people want to pop out and okay? They want to pop out, show people what they doing, you know, pop out and be like, oh, I done bought me a house. Just, you know, moving in silence. Sometimes moving in silence is not a great thing when you're making major purchases. Me and Brian are extremely knowledgeable, not just through like work, but life experiences. Okay? And I tell people all the time, you need help, come to me and Brian, we'll help you. We'll help you work things out. But what we will not tolerate is when we're constantly helping you and you still go do what you want to do and you want us to help you get out of that ditch. I think young people need to stop being so overly sensitive and feeling like, oh, this old person is trying to spoil my fun. Oh, I can have it all. Oh, I could do it all. That doesn't work out for everybody. We see other influencers living in Dubai, having a house in Atlanta, living in New York. You don't know what's going on in the background. You don't know what investments they've made. You don't know what moves they made. You don't know if somebody's paying for these places for them because of some brand deal or something that they have. Stop being so overly sensitive and accept the help. Stop feeling, this is such a generation, like I will say millennials and Gen Z. They do not like correction. It is the weirdest thing. They do, and not even so much correction, but constructive criticism. That's the word. They take constructive criticism as correction all the time. Y'all need to stop being so overly sensitive. That's why a lot of them is in debt. We're going to talk more about that because I've been seeing a lot of TikToks with them being in debt. Did you hear that with Klarna? They're getting ready to start putting Klarna on people's credit reports?
They should.
They're getting ready to start putting Klarna, Afterpay. All those things are getting ready to go on your credit reports.
Because it's being abused.
Exactly. And the companies are only looking for a way to get their money back.
Mm-hmm.
And if that means ruining your credit and ruining your life before you can even get started, they will. They did it to us. And that's the other thing too that irritates me. They feel like, I saw a millennial saying, oh, leave us out of this conversation. We've learned to live through a lot of things. Well, you're not the only one. There's people that lived through the Great Depression. I've lived through several recessions. I lived through college where they used to come on a college campus and just give everybody credit cards and F up your credit before you can even start your life.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all not the only ones. Y'all act like y'all the only ones. Y'all not. Everybody in this country from 100 years old on down to 0 is waking up in a world where we are being tariffed in our country, where our rights are being taken. Everybody's going through this. So unless we start working together generationally, we all are doomed at this point. Unless we learn to stop fighting each other and starting think pieces, and just because you got a podcast, you feel like you got a voice, but you don't have common knowledge, you don't have common sense, you don't have wisdom, you haven't lived a lot to know. Sit down and learn. Sit down and be mentored. Sit down to take constructive criticism. Stop being so easily offended. You have anything to say about this?
Not really. Just the fact that with what you said, Michelle Obama was saying, it's a hard, difficult conversation that a lot of people don't want to have. As far as when you sit back and you say to yourself, what is your definition of success, or what does success look like for you? And then when you're trying to put yourself up against these people who have, like you said, that have obtained these different things, when you fall short, you feel like, well, oh, I'm not living, or, I haven't arrived, or I'm not successful, but yet you're not living check to check. You're not on the street homeless. You're not, hitchhiking or trying to catch a bus. You're still having a lot of the things that would make your life, meaningful and successful.
Right.
And you're putting unrealistic goals on yourself to just fall short, and then you want to blame everybody as to why you're not achieving those goals. And you're putting that on yourself. Society isn't telling you that you have to do that. You're putting that on yourself. Even like you said, at 44, we had the homes, we had the cars. Nobody said that getting a Mercedes was going to be a status symbol.
Right.
Hence her listening now and wanting to say something.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
We ain't talking to you.
But
Please specify the recipient.
but it's kind of like, because we never had that as a goal or something that we were striving for, it came so easy.
Right.
I think a lot of times people put those unrealistic goals on themselves and say, oh, I want to have a G-Wagon by the age of 20.
A G-Wagon.
And then at 21, you got a Honda Civic, and you didn't thank God for the fact that from 18 to 21, you never walked. You never begged for a ride. You never had to
to ride the bus.
Yeah, you never had to
rode
take
the bus.
public transportation. But yet you mad at God and everyone else because you didn't get the G-Wagon at the age of 20, like you said. So it's kind of like we got to really reel it in as a people, and even that age group really need to reel it in and say to themselves, like, what matters?
And think about the car notes on these G-Wagons, and just a basic car. I saw a young lady online say she was paying a $800 car note, and I want to say it was like a Genesis or something. $800 car note, boo-boo. And then y'all want to live in these high-rise apartments like these influencers. Okay, y'all don't even think about that when you're paying that amount on a car note, or let's say a G-Wagon, right? You want a G-Wagon and you're not even 30 years old yet. You understand the maintenance that go into a G-Wagon? You understand the tires, the brakes, premium gas? Like, all of these things go into owning those things. Like, I have to put premium gas in my car, and I drive a GLB.
No questions asked.
Okay, I drive a GLB, and trust and believe them services is $2.99, $4.99. Like, twice a year, you got to come up with that. That ain't no, like, you could just go to Walmart and get your oil change, girl. So y'all be wanting these things and I even know what goes into taking care of these things. And God also said, if you are faithful over little things, I'll make you a ruler over many. Y'all not even faithful over cleaning y'all damn bedrooms, let alone having a nice household car.
I had a young lady come talk to me about her finances. And she was telling me that she thinking about filing for bankruptcy, Chapter 7. And I told her, how old are you? And she said, oh, I'm 23.
Jesus.
And I said, why you want to do that? She says, well, because I have a credit card and it has a high interest rate. And I said, well, let's look at the interest rate. And it was like 25% interest rate. And she had a $20,000 limit on this card. And she said it was a card that she got from when she was in college. You know, back then they used to throw them high limits at you. I said, well, how much have you used? Oh, I've used $13,000 on it, but I don't understand because every time I make a payment, $400, $500 payment, they slap on interest and it's like I only made $100 payment. And I'm like, that's exactly what it is. And I'm like, she's like, but that doesn't make sense because I'm paying $500 a month on a credit card and I got to pay my car note and I got to pay for this. So I just can't handle all this. I'm about to file for Chapter 7, and that's going to only be on my credit for a year. I said, oh, contraire. I don't know who told you that story. That's not a 1 year thing. If that was the case, everybody would be doing it. I said that's going to sit on your credit anywhere between 7 to 10 years.
And plus, it's going to take her probably about 2 to 3 years before she could buy anything.
Exactly. And she's like, oh, well, I'll just put the Chapter 7 on my credit cards. I said, that's great, but now that shows up on your public record when your credit is pulled. So that can affect jobs. That can affect a lot of things. People that want to give you new loans for a home, you can forget that. You already look like a liability.
Even with the influencer life, right? Like, let's say influencers, big influencers, are being paid $20,000 a deal, $30,000 a deal to push whatever makeup. The minute that industry dies down, like in this recession, and people aren't buying as much as they used to, trust and believe they're not going to be throwing those types of deals. And then what you gonna do? That's why I've always prided myself on when I was working that YouTube was a hobby. It was a hobby that I just made money off of. Think about a hobby where you're making $4,000 or $5,000 a month. At that time, in 2023, before my car accident, I was making $4,000 to $5,000 a month on YouTube. So that was a hobby. That was extra money. That's the money I would use to go buy bags. That was the money I would use to go to Bora Bora. That was the money I would use to go travel and do all the things. I was already living that life. I didn't need to become an influencer to live that life. And a lot of y'all sit online and be like, oh, college is a lie. College is a lie. We went and got these damn degrees and it ain't worth nothing. No, you went and got something easy that you thought was just going to get you your dream job and it didn't. A lot of y'all are not surrounded by people like me who know how to maneuver in healthcare, what jobs pay the most and how you can make the most of that money. I got a job offer the other day, which right now I can't work and I can't disclose why right now. But like, I got a job offer the other day through a travel agency where they want to pay me $8,000 a week to go travel up in Massachusetts somewhere to work. The money is there, and I got a 2-year degree. And I've told countless family members over and over and over, have I not? Told them I would help them through school. I would help them study. I would help them understand everything they need to know with X-ray. They never took me up on the offer. Now the door is closed. I don't have the energy to give because I got a child. And regardless of what she want to go into, she's going to be successful at it. If she wants to be an artist, right now she's into art. I said this summer I was going to send her to art school. Gen Alpha gonna be all right. If anything, put your hope and your trust in Gen Alpha, baby. Gen Alpha, they some beast, okay? Leave Gen Z where they at. Invest your time and your energy and your knowledge into Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha is Madison them age. Okay? Go look it up. Gen Alpha are beasts. They're resilient. And I put all my trust in them.
I think
there's still some type of hope.
Yeah, I think Gen Alpha is in a very unique situation because they have, in some cases, parents that are not quite as old, but not quite as young. And the stories that could be shared, they're absorbing them. They're absorbing it in. And they have, I guess, the best chance at whatever world that we have left. Right. Because they are that generation that could still get the words from their parents and from elders, but they utilize their resources with the internet and different communications that they have. Like with Madison, we could tell her something or we could not tell her something, and she's smart enough to navigate and find the answer. Whereas when we was young, if there was something that our parents told us, like little kids are to be seen and not heard, and don't share it with us, well, we just didn't know. And then maybe other kids that we knew in school knew, and that was the way how we figured it out. But these kids are resourceful these days. They will find the information whether you tell them or not, and will call you out if you're wrong. Like, oh, I researched that. That's not what that is. So they have a really
but not even in an attitude type of way. She'll tell us like, oh, like she'll say something. We'll be like, girl, how you know that? What's the word she just told us in the house?
It gave me a headache.
She told us something.
Some really big word that I don't think was
like it's it was something about some food. It's unappetizing. That's the word she used. She said it's unappetizing. I said, how the hell you know this word? Girl, this vocabulary. mean?
Using it in the right
This
context.
free education, they better not get rid of education because this free education she getting in the magnet schools, baby, she eating, okay? So, and even like she'll tell us, you know, I really wish, she tells us this all the time, I really wish I grew up with you guys. You guys would be cool friends in school. This is what she tells it. And it makes me feel so good because I'm like, cool. Not that I'm a cool parent, but she sees us as friends enough that she want to be friends to hang out with us in school. And she'll say, oh, I wish I grew up when you guys would, because y'all talk about y'all school lunch like it was so good. And the school lunch nowadays is just so horrible. And I just listen to her have the conversation. So what does she grow up and be like, you know what? I want to be a chef and I want to do better school lunches. I want to do better school lunches. Or I want to teach other kids how to cook. You never know. But I feel like with Gen Z and what Michelle was trying to say was not to be taken offensive. She was trying to give them constructive criticism on find your happiness wherever you find it.
And stop being hard on yourself.
Stop thinking you're going to be Jada Waiter, Glorilla, and Megan Thee Stallion, or Cardi B getting freaking buzz downs and Van Cleefs and all this other kind of ish. Live in your blessings that God gave you. Okay? With that being said, sign off in the comment section down below. We're going to talk more about this spending and all that type of stuff because I see a lot of videos on TikTok of people saying they're in debt. And I feel like that's something that I really, really, really want to speak more towards. Sign off in the comment section down below. By the way, for those of you that are new, this is my husband, Mr. B. Okay? Let us know what you think. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.